Howdy friends, I'm Cabe. Let's talk about Druid trinkets. So if you're planning on playing a Druid, I'm sure you're familiar already with the Smoking Heart of the Mountain and Mark of Tyranny. I want to explain a little about what these trinkets are and why they're valuable, but I'm going to focus more on Smoking Heart of the Mountain. And the reason is that if you don't plan ahead, this can be a very difficult trinket to get. Mark of Tyranny requires a lot less planning, but Smoking Heart of the Mountain, you really need to have a plan in order to obtain it. But the reason you want these trinkets, if you're not familiar with what they are, something you'll notice is that both of them give armor. You get 150 from Smoking Heart of the Mountain and 180 from Mark of Tyranny. Now, any other class would see that armor and not really think it's that valuable because to them it's not. But if you play a Druid, you're familiar with Bear Form, and Bear Form, what it does is it amplifies the amount of armor you get from items. So this small amount of armor from these trinkets becomes a lot of armor to us. So right now I've got 5,700 armor and 50% reduction, roughly, a little bit more. When I equip both of these, puts my armor up to 7,300 and I get a 57% damage reduction. That is 1,600 armor from just these two trinkets. It's almost it's a little bit less than a shield, but since we don't get a shield, we want armor from any source we can. These trinkets are best in slot for a very long time. I think up to Naxxramas, don't quote me on that, but up until a very high-end rating, these are best in slot trinkets for a Druid tank. If you're playing a Druid and you think there's even a small chance you're going to tank, I encourage you to get Smoking Heart of the Mountain and Mark of Tyranny. WoW is going to be out for a very long time. We're going to be playing this game for a long time. You might not think you want to tank, but a year from now, 2 years from now, you might actually want to. And so I recommend you plan on getting this because if you plan ahead, it becomes a lot easier. And the reason why is Smoking Heart of the Mountain can only be obtained by enchanters. It requires an enchanting skill of 265 in order to make it, and it requires a recipe. Now the recipe can be found in Blackrock Depths. I'll go over a little bit more about how you can get it because you can solo farm it. It's actually solo farmable by a Druid, so you don't need anyone's help. You can guarantee get that recipe. But if you don't plan ahead and pick another profession, like say you do herbalism or mining, you'd have to level those up, and then later you might be like, oh, actually I do want Smoking Heart of the Mountain because I do want a tank. You'd have to drop that profession, level up enchanting, and then go back and level that up again once you get it. The good thing about this, though, I don't know if I mentioned this, is that if you pick enchanting, you can craft it. It's bind on pickup, so only an enchanter can use it. You can't trade it to anyone else, but it doesn't require enchanting to use. So you can drop enchanting, pick another profession, and you still keep this best in slot trinket. I've got a description down below of the required materials you need in order to level up to 265, because anything above that you don't need. You just want to get your Smoking Heart of the Mountain and get out. Fortunately, it might seem difficult to level up enchanting to such a high skill. It's really not that bad. Conveniently, right at about 265 level of enchanting is when it gets a lot more difficult. Those last few 30 levels in enchanting require high-end materials, and you don't actually have to worry about that. So if you're intimidated by getting your enchanting up to 265 just for one trinket, it's not that difficult. I encourage you to look at this description down below and see the materials I have listed, how much you need, and you can kind of plot your course. But again, I highly recommend pick enchanting as a Druid right off the bat, and as you level, gather up the materials. A lot of the materials are early level. You just want to level up your enchanting, so at 60 you can be ready to get this recipe and get this trinket. Now I want to show you how to get the recipe for Smoking Heart of the Mountain. So this is Blackrock Depths. I'll show you here on the map where I'm at, Searing Gorge, and I'm in Blackrock Mountain. If you don't know how to get to Blackrock Depths, I'm sure you can find a guide, but it's right here. And I want to show you how you can solo farm this recipe. It's not easy. I'll head into the dungeon right now. It's not easy. It's actually dangerous to do. I actually failed it a few times on my way in, but that's not because, here we go, I'm gonna go through, but I failed not because the Lord Rockwar, that's the guy who drops them, or drops the recipe, he's not that hard. The difficult thing is getting to him. So I'm gonna go through this. Go ahead and use dash. Watch out for these dogs, by the way. They have very high stealth detection, so they will see you very easily. I'm less worried about the dwarves, but sneak past them, stay clear. They will pick you up quick. So I entered through here, and I'm going to go straight here. This is pretty much 11 o'clock for when you enter the dungeon. This hallway right here is where he patrols. He patrols all the way up and down. Wait for those dogs to move. He patrols all the way up and down the hallway, so you kind of have to wait for him but I will show you how to do it. Get past these guys. Now, I mentioned before I have Feral Instincts. I've got points in this. This reduces the chance I'm detected. I would recommend having that. Ooh, I almost got burned by that brazier. That would have killed me. Okay, now come right here in this hallway. But continue on what I was saying. Feral Instincts, you want this so that you can get through better with stealth without being detected. Trying to stay on one topic here. Okay, so here's the arena in Blackrock Depths. I'm going to pull up right here and wait. I don't need to be stealth. Nothing's going to see me. Let's make sure my buffs are on. And I'm actually going to wait right here. I'm going to, for Lord Rock War. He's going to walk right here, where you can see my mouth it says, and he's going to come here and turn around. You want to try to be ready for him and pull him without pulling these guys here. If you pull them, these guys will probably kill you before he does. So I'm going to wait here in this corner, and you got to be patient and just wait for him to show up. Alright, he's coming pretty close. I'm going to pre-hop myself right before he gets around the corner. Should be just a second. Let's see. There he is. Okay, pre-hot. And okay, go. Bear form. Alright, here we go. That went smoothly. Alright, now he is not that hard. I would just recommend you can go ahead and use all your abilities on him. Stun him. He's not immune to stuns. And look, already almost down. Very little damage done. So as you can see, there's not really much of a gear requirement. I would recommend being 60, but okay, there we go. He's down. And he didn't drop it, but as you can see, that was fairly easy. I mean, this is binds when picked up. Yeah, you can just vendor this. So you get a little bit of gold if you fail. But as you can see, that was pretty easy. You know, not difficult. I can just run out, reset the dungeon, come back and kill him again, and do it until the item drops. I actually did manage to get it right here on a previous attempt. So I think it's got about a 15% drop rate. I actually got it my first attempt, but not very difficult to do. So Mark of Tyranny is a quest reward for the Onyxia Attunement quest chain. So everyone's going to go through that if you intend to raid, and everyone will have the option to get it. As a druid, I almost insist that you get this trinket and do not pick up another item. Get this trinket, do not get the other ones. I'm not telling you how to play, I'm just promising you it will be worth it. I'm here in Thrall's Chamber because he's not the one who starts the chain quest, but he is the one who actually gives you the reward and gives you for the horde. So you can see here the other rewards that come from this quest chain. We've got Blackhand's Breath. You will replace this. This one, Eyes of the Beast, these are all going to be replaced very quickly when you start raiding. You will never replace Mark of Tyranny. It's best in slot throughout the entire game. If you're playing a druid, I don't care if you're balance or restoration or feral DPS, get this one. You will replace these. You will never replace Mark of Tyranny. And so please, please, please be a good druid. This is your only chance. Once you've missed this quest, there's never a chance to get it again. Get Mark of Tyranny. I think I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I assure you, it's worth it. It's best in slot, and when you combine it with Smoking Heart of the Mountain, it's going to help you out a lot with tanking. It'll give you that option, and if you're going to do the Heart of the Wild spec like I'm going to do, you can do healing and tanking. It's very flexible spec, but get Mark of Tyranny, please. So that's how you get both of these trinkets. I once again want to encourage you, don't be intimidated by the enchanting in order to get Smoking Heart of the Mountain. It's really not that bad, and it's worth it in the end. So I hope y'all found this helpful. I'm going to be continuing doing druid guides and just guides for classic, but mostly focusing on restoration druids and just druids in general because I love this class and I'm going to be playing it. As of right now, this is August 7th. Next week, we're going to have the name reserves and the servers and everything will be available. So I will tell you the server I'm playing on once I reserve my name. After that, I will be happy to tell everybody, but can't wait to get into the game. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you for your time, and I will see you guys next time.